Today I'm going to share with you another recipe from Peter Sidwell's kitchen cookbook, Miso glazed salmon with a pickled watermelon salsa. Right, so miso glazed salmon, it's delicious, all right? It is so simple, few ingredients, but it totally works. And then I'm gonna show you how to make this watermelon salsa, but we're actually gonna show you how to use it. I'm gonna do it in two ways because I'm working on a project with AEG on vacuum packers and food sealers and stuff like that. And so I thought I would show you how I use it on that. But I'll also show you how to do it without one because I fully appreciate not everyone has a vacuum sealer. But it starts with fresh salmon. Now I've got 2 fillets. This is going to serve 4 people, okay? Don't buy 4 individual fillets. Buy a piece of fish. Personally, I'd rather have 1 piece of salmon that size, but I've got 2 half that size. I think salmon in the oven cooks better as a bigger piece. It stays a bit richer, a bit more moist. It's delicious that way. And then it's a bit like steaks. The bigger the steak, the better it cooks. If you cook 2 spindly little thin ones, they don't really cook well. Bigger pieces cooks much better. So I've got the 2 end pieces. I'm actually going to put those next to each other so it's almost like one big piece, yeah? That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you didn't like salmon,
Yeah.
what else could you use? Is there another piece of fish or meat or vegetable that you could use?
I mean, you could do this with chicken if you wanted to.
Yeah.
It suits the oily fish.
Yeah.
So salmon, trout, you could maybe do it with mackerel or something like that if you wanted to. I mean, salmon's super good for you. It's got rich omega oils in it. Learn to like salmon. Right, so we're going to make the glaze. Brown sugar, okay? I'll ask Carlos to put the recipe ingredients down the side so that you can screen grab the ingredients, or if you want to buy the book, buy the book. Scan the QR code, go to the website, order the book if you want to, and then equal amount of miso paste. So miso is like a fermented soya bean paste, and it's very, very savoury. It's quite salty, but it's got that kind of depth of flavour because it's been fermented. So I use it quite a lot in lots of different things, and it's going to balance the sweet and the salty. It's almost like I've put sugar and salt in there, all right? I'm going to add some soy sauce into there, and then for acidity, white wine vinegar. So we've got sweet, sour, salty in there, okay? And then we've got our umami from the soya bit, from the miso paste. Now you could mix all this up, put it in a jar and keep it in the fridge. You could glaze it on some pork, that would work quite well. It's actually quite nice on sausages. Right at the last minute, teaspoon of this into your pan, shake it all around, you know, maybe with loads of red onions in and all that sort of stuff. Be good, that. We should do that. Book 2. Book 2, Emily.
Yeah.
Not even finished book 1, have we? Well, we have.
Well, yeah.
We have finished book 1. It is with the publishers at the moment. We've done our bit now. We've written the recipes. We've photographed it. We've kind of done our bit now.
Now they're spell checking it.
It's like when your teacher marks your homework.
It is. It's exactly that.
And you wait for the email, and then you open the file, and then you look down one side, and you're like, oh, I hope there isn't any corrections.
Yeah.
And then when there's no corrections, you're like, oh, look at check me out.
Hasn't been too many. We've done well.
No. I opened the file the other day and there was about 3 or 4 recipes with nothing on. I was so pleased with myself.
Was there?
Yeah.
Woohoo.
Right, anyway, digress. So we've got our 2 salmon fillets. We don't need any seasoning on this. This here has got all the flavour we need. If you can do this the night before, it will be even nicer, all right? So just get all that on there. Don't be shy. Get it all in. Because it's going to mix in with the natural moisture, the rich oils. It's going to be fab. Okay, and then let's fold it up. This is just normal baking parchment. Fold it up, tuck it under itself, I'm going to pop it on a tray, 170 degrees. That's going to take about 20 to 30 minutes to cook. Want to check the temperature if you've got a digital probe, 70 degrees core temperature, all right? If you haven't, look for the thickest part of the salmon and open that up a little bit. If it's cooked, you're good to go. Right, so while that is cooking, let's talk salsa, okay? So we're going to look watermelon first, okay? Now, you might think I'm a bit crazy making salsa out of watermelon, but believe me, it is really, really good. It is perfect for serving like barbecues, and it's kind of, its richness of the food counters beautifully with this because we're going to pickle the watermelon before we make it into salsa. So I'm going to show you both ways. I'm going to show you how these little tabletop vacuum packers work. So they're much more affordable than the built-in integrated ones, but you know, some people, when they're doing all the kitchen out, making it all lovely, will want to get one of those at that time because you can kind of just get it all done in one go. Whereas if you sort of, quite a lot of people that I meet are like, oh yeah, I want to try sous vide, I want to try vac packing, and this is a good entry level, good way of doing it. It's so compact, it just fits in a drawer, get it out when you need it. Right, so let's take all the white bits, and now we've just got the nice red flesh of the watermelon, yeah? So we're going to cut about an inch thick slice. I'm going to cut 2 of those, so that's cut that in half, all right? Take my vacuum bag. Okay. And I'm just going to vacuum this. Okay, so 2 pieces. Get my vinegar. Chuck some vinegar in there. 3-4 tablespoons, something like that. What will happen is the vacuum packer, so if I turn this round, can we see all right if I do it this way, Emily?
Yes.
See it on overhead or something maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's put our, all you do is press those down, and then we're just going to press that, and it'll start to suck all the air out.
That's doody, that, isn't it?
And what it's doing is, it's forcing the vinegar into the watermelon, so it pickles it quicker. As a bigger piece, it's actually nicer when you do it like that. There we go. Just let it all set. And that's it, sealed and ready to go. I'm going to leave that to one side, okay, while we get on with the alternative way of doing it, okay, which is the old school way. So let's get some vinegar in there, ready, and then all we're going to do is take some watermelon. So that watermelon that's sat in the vacuum packer, I would do that overnight and then make this the next day, okay? But we're going to make it old school as well. So I'm going to cut thinner slices because we want it to be penetrated by the vinegar much quicker, okay? So bigger surface area, quicker pickle. So all I'm going to do, can you see that all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, is we're going to cut it into really small, thin slices. We're going to turn it the other way, and then we'll dice that. You see how it's just dicing really, really nice and fine. What it's doing is it's releasing the water out of the watermelon, which leaves space for the vinegar, okay? So don't worry about all the juices coming out, because we're going to drop it now into the vinegar. So
is there any other like fruits and that you can do this with? Like this method of pickling? Or is there anything else that you would pickle with this method?
I have not tried it with any other melon, to be honest.
What about any other like fruits, or are there any other fruits or vegetables or ingredients that you would use?
You can make salsas and stuff like that out of lots of different fruits, really. Watermelon is surprisingly versatile. I've seen people like smoke a watermelon whole and serve it as like a piece of meat.
Oh.
If you get rid of the moisture out of watermelon, you end up with quite a meaty texture.
Right.
It's a really interesting kind of thing. And I created this recipe years ago. I remember you photographing it a long time ago.
Yeah, done in
So,
your studio, I think.
Yeah, I think so. 3-4 years ago, and it's just sort of sat there. And I thought, right, when we're going to write the book, this one's got to come back. And that's kind of what the book was about, was diving into some recipes over the past 10 years that we've been making and we've been using, and we never did anything with them. And it was like, they need to go in a book. And it wasn't really until now it was the right time. Okay, so watermelon sat in white wine vinegar. Let's get some shallots in there and start turning it into a salsa. So we're going to chop these really nice and fine. And then we will just finely dice, okay?
Again,
So,
is it something you could swap out for red onion?
yeah,
or?
no problem. Red onion, easy. No problem. Not white onion, because otherwise your salsa will only really taste of onion, because it's so strong. Whereas red onions and shallots are just that little bit milder. You could also use spring onion or green onion or scallions, depending on where you're from. So we're just going to chop this. You could also add a bit of chili into this if you wanted the heat. I don't think it necessarily needs it, but if you like your food spicy and hot and everything, then fine. Add some chili, like fresh chili, chili flakes, chili oil, whatever works for you. What I wouldn't do is, I wouldn't use like balsamic vinegar for your pickling, because everything will end up dark brown. You want a kind of red wine vinegar, sherry vinegar, white wine vinegar, cider vinegar. Light, fresh, clean. You know, you could even maybe pickle it in lemon juice, something like that, or lime juice if you wanted to. It's up to you. I think what you'll find as well with this one, once you've tried it, it's one of those recipes that you end up serving it with everything.
Yeah.
It's a bit like when we make chimichurri, it's like,
It's going to say it goes with everything.
Salsa verde, chimichurri, you know, those kind of, the Vietnamese dressing we do. Those are the ones in, you put it with everything. Really good. Right, so. That is our onions. Now, I've got a bunch of fresh coriander, or what do they call it in America?
Cilantro.
If that's what you want to call it. I call it coriander. Stalk, nice and fine. Okay? Because we're going to add some of that stalk, because it's got tons and tons of flavour. We're going to add that to the salsa, and then we're going to serve the salmon up just with a few little cuts of fresh leaf. I'm going to put that bit over there. Put that bit back, don't need that. And then let's stir this salsa together and kind of get the flavours working. All right, we'll have a little taste. We'll make sure it's kind of sharp enough and fruity enough and tangy. Okay? So we mix that together. Let's get the coriander in. You're a coriander fan, aren't you?
Oh, I'm a big coriander fan.
Yeah, good, good. So automatic, I mean, it almost looks like a tomato salsa now.
Yeah.
And tomato and melon are quite similar.
Right.
I don't know, I think they're related to each other.
Right. It's like the hydration and the...
Yeah, just like the texture and everything, and I think they are. I might be wrong. People are going to be like messaging in that you're wrong. A little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt. Not a lot of salt, I don't think. Just a touch. Because you're going to be serving it with something that's got that kind of saltiness and sweetness and sourness, so... That is how you make a pickled watermelon salsa. My salmon is going to be ready in a few minutes. We're going to serve it up. Okay, salmon has been in the oven for 20 minutes. I think it's about cooked. Let's have a little look. Oh, some of the miso has just come out, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. Just carefully transfer. I quite like to serve this all in. I don't want to lose any of the juices, any of the flavour. So I'm just going to unwrap it, yeah?
Oh, nice.
It smells amazing, that. Oh, smells so good. And then all we're going to do is we're going to serve this up. If you're going to take this to the table, just take it to the table like that, and then just plonk some of this watermelon salsa on top. And then you will have the most delicious, unique salmon flavour. Now, I'm going to get some of this. I'm going to have a little try and let you know what I think. I know it tastes amazing. I'm going to get Emily to have a try of some.
Come round.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Try that. Tell me what you think. The fruity, tangy watermelon that's still really quite crunchy just counterbalances the richness of an oiliness of the salmon because it's got all those natural omega-rich oils in salmon. It tastes absolutely amazing. The miso, the sugar, the vinegar just smashes all together to give this sort of sweet, salty, tangy glaze to it. Once you've tried it, you will absolutely be making this all the time. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Just remember, if you want the recipe or if you fancy getting the book, just go down to the website, petersidwell.com. You can get it all there. Thank you very much. Have an amazing weekend and cook something delicious.